I mean, as well as being part of Spirits of Shankly, I'm also part of the supporters board at Liverpool. So I was involved in the discussions around what Liverpool would do next season. And when those discussions began, initially there was talk about various ways they could raise revenue, one including ticket price rises. We put it across to them that we felt tickets have gone up far too much, 800% in the last 30 years at Liverpool. Also 19% since the COVID season generally across the league. And we know of a lot of supporters that have been priced out of football that can't afford to come all the time anymore, some who can't afford it at all. There are, in fact, people who go to Anfield now to see their friends in the pubs around the match, but don't actually go to the match because they can't afford to go anymore. And we find all this quite sad, and we think there's a threat really to football culture in this country. So this isn't just about affordability, accessibility. It's about the fact that you're starting to price out the most passionate supporters, the ones who provide the colour, the noise, the flags, the banners, the songs, all the stuff we love about places like the Kop, the Gallagate, the Stretford End, wherever it might be. So this is a step in the right direction, and it's not just Liverpool. Brentford have frozen their tickets as well. Wolves have committed to that too if they stay up in the Premier League. And when you consider that this season, 19 of the 20 clubs put the tickets up, so have 3 commit next season to not doing that already is definitely a step in the right direction.
Gareth, can you give us a little insight into the meeting you had? So you had a meeting with the guy, and you were the fan representative on that. Was it at Anfield? Where was it? Who else was in attendance? And did you feel totally valued from being the very fact you're being invited to that meeting?
Yeah, I think it's excellent that Liverpool commit to doing that. It's one of the first clubs to commit to having a supporters board. It's in the Articles of Association as well, so any future owners can't sort of write that off and walk away from it. That's there now. That's set in stone. And it's with the MD of Liverpool. It's with various other executives. They're very open and honest in what they're trying to do. And we were the same, and it was an open and honest conversation. We didn't always agree with everything they said, and vice versa. And the compromise was what we've reached. I mean, Spirit of Shankly actually pushed for some prices to actually lower in the ground. So obviously we've reached the middle ground. What we're now trying to say to the club is, let's have a meaningful conversation going forward from this point for the rest of the year, and let's not keep arriving back in the same place. They know what our position is. We know what their position is. So how can we constantly meet in the middle? How is the compromise? How is the ways even that we can help them with ideas around revenue increase that isn't always put your hand out to us for general admission tickets, for season tickets? And Liverpool haven't been one of those clubs that's targeted concessions. And again, that's very welcome. But, elsewhere in the league, we have seen that, and that's a worrying trend. And what we'd like Liverpool to do too is go to the table at the Premier League when they all sit round the table and start to say, can't we all talk collectively about this? Can't we ring fence tickets? Can't we ring fence concessions in the way that you've got an away ticket price cap already in the Premier League?
Yeah.
And can't we say this is an area that we don't compete over everything else, but sort of ring fence this bit and say, actually, we value the culture of football in this country. We've got the most passionate league in the world. That's brilliant for broadcasters, brilliant for fans, players, managers. Every stakeholder in football loves the passion in the Premier League. So let's preserve that. Let's keep that. Let's make sure the people who provide that can still afford to get into the grounds.
Wow. Gareth, I mean, well done you, well done Spirit of Shankly, well done Liverpool.
Thank you.
For showing the rest the way. This can be done, Simon. This can be done. Now, not to put too fine a point in it, when you were at Palace, you never did this.
Of course I did. I froze season ticket prices.
You froze ticket prices?
Yeah, of course I did. Virtually every year.
Well, you did?
Yeah.
I thought I heard you say to me earlier on you didn't.
Casual ticket prices, no.
Well, these are casual ticket prices.
But season tickets were my value. But there's a difference between how I run Crystal Palace and how I run Liverpool. Liverpool was a club on a far greater scale than Crystal Palace. And secondly, I wanted to get as many season ticket holders as I possibly could. Liverpool don't. Liverpool operate an interesting policy, which is very different to most clubs in the Premier League, that they seem to want quite a low season ticket base. And I was interested to see why that was. So I was going to ask you that question.
You want to ask Gareth?
Yeah, because Liverpool running a 61,000 attendance, only having 28,000 season ticket holders, seems to fly exactly in the face of what every other football club in the Premier League is doing. Most of those football clubs are looking for 60, 70, even 80%, 90% at West Ham of their fan base is season ticket holders, which of course will give you the lowest ticket price.
Yeah, well, what's Liverpool's policy on that,
What's the thinking there, Gareth?
Yeah, it's something we're lobbying for, something we're speaking to the club about. You're very right to point that out. Even across the park at Everton, their percentage of season ticket holders is much higher than it is at Liverpool. Liverpool have obviously improved two of the stands now as well. It's a bigger ground. And in fact, 18% of the ground is corporate tickets as well. 11,000 tickets every game, a corporate hospitality offer. Right. So we are pushing.
So that's not helping the grassroots, the lifeblood of the football club, is it? In terms of their thought processes about the value of fans, because corporate is a whole different beast, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's something I see. I'm personally on the Kop, but I'm obviously facing the Anfield Road, and I can see every game that the corporate strip in the top tier of the Anfield Road disappear about 10 minutes before the half's finished in the first half, and reappear about 10 minutes into the second half. And they're not providing those things I mentioned earlier. They're not providing passion, colour, noise, banners, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So,
but even Gareth, even with those 11,000 corporates discounted, you're still operating a very low season ticket penetration against most teams in the Premier League. That must be a deliberate strategy. Why would Liverpool, that's a club that's built upon its unity and the fact that the fan base is completely aligned with this football club, not want to have most of its tickets, with the exception of the away allocations, for season ticket holders, like most other clubs do?
Yeah, it's a stretch of pricing, isn't it? I think would be their argument. So, they can offset keeping the Kop cheaper by charging people three-figure packages to sit elsewhere in the ground. And me personally, a meal and a pint for £500 isn't my way that I want to go to watch a football match. I want to be in the Kop. I want to be singing and shouting. I want to be giving the referee stick. I want to be getting behind my side. And there are thousands of us that want to consume it that way. Now, Liverpool's argument, I guess, is that the only way they can compete is by doing things like this. We would argue differently. We have argued differently. We argued for a children's section or a young adult section in that new stand. That idea was bypassed. We're not thoroughly sure as to why, and we're still asking that question. Some ideas around safeguarding were put forward. So that is something we're pushing for. There's a huge season ticket waiting list at Liverpool. It's closed off as well, so I can't add my children to that. I did try, but it's closed. I myself was on that list once upon a time, and it took me 20 years to get a season ticket at Liverpool. And I find it a shame that my son can't follow in the same steps. But this is something that where, there's continual negotiation between the likes of Spirit of Shankly and the supporters board and the club over these things. And I think it's really important to have supporter representation for that very reason. If you look at what's going on elsewhere in the league this season alone, Manchester United mid-season introducing £66 tickets. That just shows you that some owners sometimes are prepared to just walk away from what they know that fans want and do their own thing. And I think if it wasn't for the likes of Spirit of Shankly, Football Supporters Association, trusts right across the country, tickets would be even more sky high than what they are now. Sure, I think we've tethered the price to what it is by continually fighting for more affordable football for fans.
Gareth, really enjoyed your company this morning and your contribution.
Thanks, Jim.